This is episode 6 of the Jordan Davis podcast. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Jordan Davis podcast. I am your host, Jordan Davis, of course. And on today's episode, I would like to start a conversation on the MCU about what is going to happen after Avengers 4. How will the world be affected? How will the movie be like? How will they finish this 22 epic arc of storytelling and start an even better one? Because I'm sure Kevin Feige is going to start a better one. So I just wanted to talk about that. But before we do that, I have to talk about recent news of what happened in the comic book and movie world. And that was the passing of Stan Lee, the creator of Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, the Hulk, the Avengers. So many great characters that he helped create in such amazing characters. And he impacted such a big part of my life as a kid, as a teenager, with these amazing characters and stories that he wrote. And I will always thank him in my heart for that. And it's just such a sad couple of days, really, because everyone's been thanking him, this incredible human being that he was, and such an amazing storyteller. He will truly be missed because there will never be anything or anyone like Stan Lee. He was the crown jewel of Marvel, and one of my favorite things about him, you could really tell that Spider-Man was his favorite character, because you go back and read the first 100 issues of Spider-Man that he wrote. Man, he really loved that character, and it showed throughout the pages and how he wrote those stories, and wrote the greatest line: with great powers comes great responsibility. And that's really great American literature right there that everyone remembers. So it's a sad time for the comic book community, but we should also be celebrating his life, because he lived such a long and wonderful life. 95 years of doing amazing things. So I just want to put my 2 cents into what I thought about the passing of Stan Lee and what he kind of meant to me as a fan, and also as a comic book fan, not just as a Spider-Man fan. But so I just want to do that. So now back to our main topic of this episode. So how will Avengers 4 shape out? How will the MCU kind of conclude the first 2-3 phases? It's pretty interesting to see where this might go. After Avengers 3, after Thanos' snap, anything could happen. To be perfectly honest, they could go anywhere. I mean, and I've heard some rumors that there's even a bigger threat than Thanos in Avengers 4. I don't know if that's true. I don't have a scoop for you if that is or isn't. I think that would be very interesting to turn it on its head, thinking, oh, we have to defeat Thanos. No, you have to defeat someone else, and you have to join up with Thanos. So that would be kind of interesting. But how do I think Avengers 4 and what's going to happen. I do believe there is going to be a time jump. I think it's going to be a major time jump because I really want to see what the world is like after this, you know, big event that just happened in the universe and on Earth. What is life like now? Half of the people in civilization on Earth is gone. We're not just talking about people here. We're talking about animals. Half of the animals are gone. Half of the livestock is gone. So that's a pretty big deal. How are people living after this? How is the economy? How is living day after day? What do people go through in this new world? This new reality? It's I think that's pretty interesting. Now, I'm hearing that a 5 year time jump, I think that would be good enough. A 5 year time jump to really get the scope and the feeling of what the world is like now before we get into the story. And I would like to see how the snap truly affect the main Avengers. How did it affect Captain America? Because he lost two of his best friends in Infinity War. He lost Falcon and he lost Bucky Barnes, Winter Soldier. How would this a snapping affect Iron Man? Because he lost Peter Parker. Because they really shaped that relationship they have with each other like a father and son. How would that affect Tony? That's really interesting. And also we have Wanda dying and we have Vision just like turn into solid silver. Like he is like completely metal. There's nothing human about him anymore. Right when he hit his human peak, Thanos took it away from him. So we're not going to see much of him in Avengers 4. Maybe, when he comes back, whatever the Avengers have to do to put everything right. I think we're going to have a couple relationships in Avengers 4 that we did not get into in Avengers 3. I do believe that the two main romantic relationships, at least they're going to be focusing on, I believe it's going to be Tony and Pepper Potts and Natasha, Black Widow, and Bruce Banner. Because if you watch Avengers 3, there was mainly two relationships that you really focused on. That was Gamora and Star-Lord. And then you have Vision and Wanda. That was really the main focus point for relationships to bring the emotion. So I think they're going to do the exact same thing in Avengers 4 for Tony and Pepper and Bruce and Natasha. So I believe they're going to be living life because they don't know what to do. They can't find Thanos, so they have to live life as if nothing happened. They have to move on because they don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. So they just have to accept life as it is. As we start Avengers 4, that's what I believe those characters will be going through because they have nowhere to find him. They have no technology to find him. And I do believe that's when Ant-Man comes in because as we saw in Ant-Man 2, Ant-Man and the Wasp, he got stuck in the quantum realm, and I believe whoever finds him, if it's Tony or someone else, I do believe when he comes out, he's gonna ask where's everyone, and he's gonna be shocked at what happened because what I believe, from my understanding, that he's gonna feel like he's only been in the quantum realm for a couple of minutes, but from the outside, it's gonna be like forever. Like a few minutes in the quantum realm is like 5 years on Earth. So that's pretty extreme. And like I said, I don't know how crazy Avengers 4 is gonna get. I know there's gonna be some form of time traveling. I don't know how this is gonna be injected into the story, but I think I think it's gonna be pretty interesting because time travel trick to simplify and to not get too complicated and messed up your story. So that's that should be a hard one trying to explain, but I'm sure the Russo brothers and the writers and Kevin Feige fully have it under control. And I've always been hearing from the last couple of months who is going to die, who's going to die in Avengers 4. Here's the thing: they could go that way. They could kill characters, but I don't think they're going to go that way. I think you're still going to have these characters in this world, but I don't think you're going to kill them. I think in a way they're going to retire them. I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to retire them. So I think that would be a good move because it's like you always have the possibility for them to come back in like some big event movie, like in an Avengers movie. You can retire Iron Man, but you don't have to retire Tony Stark. You can have him come back for a couple of scenes, like how Tony Stark was in Spider-Man Homecoming. He was in for a couple of scenes, but the narrative of Tony Stark was throughout the movie. So they could do that. And that's a great way to keep Robert Downey Jr. If he doesn't want to do as many movies or spend as many time on set, you can do what they did for Spider-Man Homecoming. So that's an option. Could they kill them? I think it's a big possibility. I would not rule it out. But now, the title of Avengers 4 is being discussed and rumored: Avengers Annihilation. Now, I really don't care about the title because I'm not there for the title. It's just something you slap on a movie. Sometimes it has story details in your title of your movie that people could figure out, but I really don't care. Like, everyone made a big deal out of Spider-Man Homecoming, but once they saw the movie, they really didn't care. To be perfectly honest, they didn't care about the title. Once they saw the movie and they saw Spider-Man and how great the story was, they didn't care. It's like, oh, Spider-Man Homecoming. Okay, I really don't care anymore. The movie was great. So, same thing with Avengers Annihilation. I think it's I think it's a pretty good title. I think it's really not going to matter because you're going to sell tickets either way. So I mean, you could just put Avengers and it would sell. So the title